Give yourself 2 tangos, I guess. It's pretty understandable to lose interest in queuing solo ranked. Everyone hits that point probably multiple times, to be honest. Alright, what do you know about this matchup? I don't care. We can spawn them if you want, or we don't have to. I think in 1v1s the 0-minute rune doesn't spawn. But I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. Yeah, I don't care. What do you prefer? Just pretend like neither one of us got the rune. Yeah, sure. I mean, you're not much worse than I am, dude. You're like 4.7 to 5k. Like, I only hover about 300 or 400 points higher than you. So I doubt there's going to be anything like super substantial about your laning phase. Like, a lot of what separates, you know, the mid 4Ks from the 5Ks most of the time is that my decision making just tends to be a little bit more solid than yours. Like what you'll notice is that there are ah, you dick. It's alright, I should have waited. It's a good play by you. Alright, how's the lane going? Give me an update. Pretty awful. Why is it going so awful? Yeah, first 2 minutes is really hard to get good CS numbers. Right, granted you're playing against a Lina. This is a really hard matchup for you because Lina can just nuke and then hit you. And she has really long range, so like there aren't very many 1v1s that Lina is going to lose if Lina plays correctly. Yeah, if you were positioned better, maybe you could deny me. Like, a lot of what I've been doing is when I'm going for a last hit, because like my last hits right now are 14 and 0. And they're not exactly perfect. I think 14 at this point is like okay. What are yours at? Like, you're doing okay. I think, you know, at this point, like, when you're positioning yourself for last hits, you definitely want to move in such that your hero is, like, closer to the creep. And this sounds, like, counterintuitive, because you're going to put yourself in range to get nuked and take damage and whatever. But like that's why you buy regen. And the big thing that you're trying to do is that when you move in to attack a creep like that, you're essentially positioning yourself such that if both of us go for the last hit, you'll get it because your hero is closer than mine. Right? Yeah. Because like what I feel like you're doing is you're just kind of like hanging out real far behind, and then like I'm pretty on point with when you want to use alacrity, so you only ever get one attack off on me with alacrity. Do you know what I mean? Like anticipate my movements rather than react to them. Because like I'm doing the same thing where I move into creeps to kind of try to get last hits when I'm like last hitting, I guess. So when I go in for those last hits, then choose to fight me with alacrity and like set yourself up in the half second before that. Like you can try to dodge my Q. That's definitely one way to play against Lina. But it's really hard to dodge with Invoker. Like I think, you know, you got to know the matchup a little bit better in that Invoker has really low base movement speed. So like it's very, very hard for him to dodge it. If you were an Enchantress, then yeah, I think you could play the dodging game and do okay because her base movement speed's really high. Or if you were you know, had phase boots and like your Wex orbs up already, then yeah, I think you could dodge it. But I think at this point, you know, like you want to position yourself in such a way that you can, like, I don't want to slave is the most important thing. Right? Because I'm always going to be moving opposite you, because I want to hit a creep with my slave and hit you. Let's try again. Start over. Thinking the same thing. Like it may not seem like a lot, but 6 CS in the first 2 minutes is a lot. Like that's basically, you know, 400 gold. That means I would have boots in bottle, while you would have boots, right? And in the mid lane, there's like a lot of opportunities when you're at risk of dying. One is when they pick up a rune that's like a GG rune, sort of like an arcane or a haste or something. Yeah. Like there's some like Lina will win the lane most of the time versus Invoker. Like I like picking Lina into Invoker because it's hard for him to do it, but he definitely can win it. If you want me to pick a matchup that's more something you see more often, I can definitely do that too. You just gotta let me know, you know. Alright, as long as it's good. But what I want to see you doing, right, is I want to see you moving in before you last hit creeps. And if you take a little harass, it's not a big deal. That's why you buy regen. So like against Lina, most of the time, I like getting like a salve and 2 tangos. Like that's usually pretty good. Oh, no worries. But sometimes I have to send out a second salve just based on how much damage I'm taking and if I've lost the rune battle. And then the other thing I want to see you doing is I want to see you planning your alacrities a little bit better, right? Alacrity is a skill that you can either use to out CS me or you can use to harass me. But like take advantage of when I'm planning on moving in to get last hits and then you set up to use alacrity there. Good. It's much easier to see us when you're closer. And sometimes I'm gonna not like go for a last hit, I'm gonna go good deny. So that was like a purely CSing alacrity. which is okay. Just as long as you know that's the reason you were using it. I know. It was bad on my part. You should have beaten me there. Yeah, you should not have died. I also like just ran into the river because I was trying to click you and I couldn't click you. Try again. What CS do you have? See, that's like much closer this time, and it's because you're contesting me better. Whereas before you weren't contesting me very much, and I was kind of doing whatever I wanted. And it's not necessarily reflected in you getting more last hits, but it's definitely reflected in my ability to get last hits. Okay, we're going for the Rin this time. Am I still Lina? Or... Alright, I'll pick Invoker. Invoker's real hard because he's all about raw last hitting, which is not exactly easy. Let's go with a Fairy Fire. Let's try it out. Damn it, he wasn't there. Your laning seems okay to me. Played a few games as Invoker where I was versus a DP Zeus and an OD. Well, that's good, dude. Invoker like has trouble with OD, I think, but he should own Zeus. Lina is like ridiculous. I think Lina and Windrunner are probably two of the strongest laners, but they have other issues in the game, and so it makes them really difficult to pick. You know, like if you really wanted to pick the best mid laner in the laning phase, you would go Lich. Oh no, I didn't go for the rune. I'll go for it. Which one did you go for? Alright, I'll go bottom. Yeah. How do you spawn it? What's the command? I'm just gonna go now. I'm gonna go no bounty rune. It's alright. I don't mind you having the bounty rune advantage. Should be a pretty big advantage for you. I like wasn't thinking about it. Yeah, there was no way I was getting that last hit. I like your positioning though, it's good. You'll be surprised how little damage you end up taking too. That's the thing, when you position yourself like that, because a lot of people will go for farm. Not necessarily try to fight you. Nice. Ah, you missed your slave. Nice. Lina's ridiculous in lane. That's why a lot of pros like picking her. It's good. You anticipated my movement there. Take 2 points in Quas. A lot of the time I end up putting more points into Quas than I usually do. So 247, what do your last hits look like? There you go. Right? It's the same situation from before. Because you're playing aggro on me and you're anticipating my movements, so then I'm in a similar situation, which was that I made 2. Right? Like, the laning phase is very predictable in a lot of ways in the mid-laning phase. So, like, you can take advantage of that, especially when you're playing the aggro hero. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. You know, and it's like, there's not much I could have done. Do you know what I mean? Like, you almost killed me and I had to fairy fire out kind of thing. But I'm kind of just sitting on my hill playing defensive. Like, when you're playing that aggro role, like, if you play it right, there's not much that, like, the defender can do. Does that make sense? Try again? Or do you want to keep going? I don't care. We can do more than this if you want to. It also helps that you got the rune advantage, because you were level 2 when I was level 1 when we fought it. Alright, I'll try again. Do you want to play Invoker this time, or do you want to play Lina? Oh, he's gone. He's gone! No. Okay. It's definitely tricky to play Invoker in that matchup. Mostly because, like, what makes it really difficult, especially with Lina's Slave, is that she can slave for a last hit when she should be last hitting, and then in turn hit you. Right? So then you're going to take the Slave, you're not going to deny her the last hit, and she's going to get a right click off on you. So she's going to be like 2 attacks ahead on you, and that's kind of how you play Lina. So, like, the way you can deal with that is, like, you just have to get the last hits under pressure, and then use your regen, sort of thing. Like, you're essentially trading gold. You're trading regen for gold. Alright, we'll both get the rune. It's definitely easier for Invoker when he gets the rune. Like, 100%. Yeah, because he gets Alacrity up sooner. And Lina doesn't have as long to lane dominate. I think if I were to change Dota, I would take the experience off the level 1 rune. Because I think that was like the driving force behind all the farming carries mid. It's because the Dominators had basically half a wave less of time to dominate. Well, who knows? I'm going bottom rune. Okay, go top. Yeah, I'm going bottom. Yeah, it is there. Alright. Oh, because you spawned it. Okay. Yeah, I'll just grab it after the timer and then walk back mid. You should get a better block than me, because distance from top is much shorter. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? Like, I just slaved for that last hit. And, like, that's not something Invoker has a luxury of doing. And then because I kind of get you out of the lane, I can stand real close to the creeps and get free CS. Don't get too focused on harassing, right? Like, I have a salve. Do you see what I mean? Like, you're missing out on tons of last hits. Like, right now, I'm 7-0. Right? Like, you're doing okay. But, like, don't necessarily harass when you're missing last hits, right? Like, that's probably a mistake. Because the mid lane isn't necessarily about, like, getting kills. And, like, you're not really setting me back with that harass at all. You're just kind of, like, lowering your mana pool. Keep going, though. Whoops. You're using the fog nicely. Nice, good use of Force Spirit. Nice. Very good. Like, you're still losing out a little bit on the last hits early. But that's kind of to be expected, right? Like, sending out 2 salves, I basically wasted my whole mana pool trying to harass you. Do you see what I mean? And, like, as long as you're getting the farm, then you can afford to do things like that. And then you basically, yeah, it's, like, not a big deal. Like, regen's an expendable thing, and it can matter. You know, and then you played around vision really nicely when my creeps were on your hill, such that I, like, couldn't pull aggro very easily. So you're doing good. And, like, this is part of the issue with Invoker in the mid lane, is more that he just has a lot of trouble controlling runes. But that's just because he doesn't have a nuke. And, like, a lot of the time, like, part of the reason I like picking Lina against Invoker too is I can just do this. I can just shove your lane into your tower, and then I can control the runes and gank the lanes. And, like, if you farm a Midas, like, that's probably, like, the best you can do in this lane. And then, like, try to gank me later on, or, like, have rotations come in to help. Yeah, it's like SF versus Invoker. Yeah, it's just that Lina does it a little bit faster than SF does, and like isn't as vulnerable early on, right? Like Lina is stronger early on, and then she's just not as good later. Oh yeah, for sure. But the issue is that like I can afford to be a little bit more out of position because like your HP pool is usually lower than it would be in an SF matchup, whereas you're going to be like full HP no matter what. Yeah, like you're doing good. New matchup, something else, same thing. Rotate. Could switch Radiant Dire. I don't care.